Now that we've established our written screening criteria, let's move on to identity verification. This may sound simple, but identity verification is one of the most important steps in the entire screening process. After all, before we verify income, rental history, employment, credit, or criminal background information, we first need to know that the person applying is actually who they claim to be. The screening process roadmap includes written criteria, identity verification, income, and employment. Then rental history, credit, criminal background, and finally, the decision. Currently, we are at step 2. In Oregon, landlords are permitted to request reasonable information necessary to verify an applicant's identity, provided those requirements are applied consistently and comply with fair housing laws. At a minimum, you should collect a government-issued photo ID. This often includes a driver's license or state-issued identification card. You might also accept a passport or military ID. Many companies also use social security numbers when permitted. The goal isn't simply to collect documents. The goal is to verify that the information provided throughout the application is consistent and accurate. As you're reviewing an application, pay attention to the consistency of information, address history, and name variations. Also verify the date of birth and look for any potential fraud indicators. And yes, fake IDs happen more often than many landlords realize. Identity theft and synthetic identities are on the rise. Altered documents and fraudulent applications have become increasingly common. That's why verification is so important. Let's look at an example. An applicant tells you they've lived in Bend for the past 10 years. But when you review their identification, you notice their Oregon ID was issued only 2 weeks ago. Now, does that automatically mean the applicant is being dishonest? Absolutely not. There could be many legitimate explanations, like a recent renewal or moving back to the state. The point isn't to jump to conclusions. The point is to recognize when information doesn't quite line up. This is where professional screening differs from personal judgment. It's about clarification, not assumptions. Professional screening isn't about assuming the worst. It's about verifying information objectively. When something doesn't make sense, we simply ask additional questions and request supporting documentation. It's also important to remember that identity verification must be conducted consistently. Applying different standards to different applicants can create fair housing concerns and expose you to risk. Oregon landlords should also be mindful of privacy and data security for all personal information collected. Sensitive data should be stored securely and only used for legitimate purposes. Protect applicant information. The key takeaway is simple. Identity verification is about confirming accuracy before moving on. It protects everyone involved. When done correctly, it creates a more reliable screening process for property owners and applicants alike. Trust, but verify.